Hey, welcome back to my limited series, Rave of Thrones. I'm your host, Movie Real Rick. As a reminder, this series does contain spoilers. So, if you haven't watched episode 2 yet, hold off on watching this review. But if you are caught up, let's talk about episode 2. So, once again, just like in the season premiere, not a whole lot actually happens in this episode. In fact, nobody even dies, which I think might be a first for the entire series. The episode opens with Jaime Lannister standing before two boss bitches and one boss bastard, all of whom are known for swiftly executing anyone who crosses them. And if anyone's head has earned a place on the gates of Winterfell, it's the Kingslayer. And the Lannister family in general has caused nothing but pain and suffering for the Starks for years. Tyrion tries to speak on Jaime's behalf, but Dany ain't having it. It looks like this is the end for Sir Jaime, but then good old Lady Brienne leaps out of her chair like a snake just bit her in the ass and comes to his rescue. Brienne's unwavering loyalty to Sansa and high praise of Jaime's character sways the Lady of Winterfell, after which the other two begrudgingly agree to let him live so he can stay and fight. Whew. Another close call for Sir Jaime. Looks like the grace period on this Lannister's debt just got extended. What we didn't hear in the Great Hall was Bran letting everyone know that it was Jaime who pushed him out of that window so many years ago, crippling him for life. After the inquiry, Jaime finds Bran out in the garden and privately apologizes for what he did to him, and then asks why Bran didn't let the cat out of the bag. Bran selflessly states that Jaime can't help them in the war to come if he's executed before the big battle even begins. Which leads me to believe that Jaime is going to have a pivotal role to play in either killing the Night King or his sister Cersei. But when Jaime asks Bran what will happen to him afterwards, Bran replies, "What makes you think there is an afterwards?" Which further makes me think that while he will do something epic, he'll pay for it with his life. After he's done talking with Bran, Jaime goes out to chat with Tyrion, who is pretty confident that they're all gonna die. And even makes a sly remark that after he's dead, he might march down to King's Landing as a White Walker and rip Cersei to pieces. Perhaps this is more subtle foreshadowing and is in fact what will actually happen. And after a lifetime of trying to murder Tyrion, once he is actually dead and Cersei finally gets what she's wanted for so long, she ends up getting killed by her very own wish come true. Next, Jaime goes to talk with Brienne. A lot of Jaime talking in this episode. Anyway, Jaime asks to fight under Brienne's command of the left flank. And Brienne, of course, agrees, because if she's going to get slaughtered by an army of rotting corpses, might as well die looking at the most handsome living man in all the Seven Kingdoms. Then we see a quick glimpse of Podrick sparring with some foot soldiers, and looks like he's getting pretty damn good. I bet his swordsmanship will come in handy next episode. Who knows? Maybe he'll be the one who kills the Night King. Or maybe he'll just him to death with his magic. Anything goes at this point in the series. Dany goes and tries to make peace with Sansa, and it looks like they're finally gonna be friends, but then Sansa's all like, "What about the North? We said we would never bow to anyone ever again, blah blah blah." Really, Sansa? That's what's on your mind? Can we focus on what's really important and maybe table this discussion for a future date? You know, if there even is a future date? Redheads. Great in bed, but damn, what a pain in the ass. Speaking of redheads, our favorite wildling Ginger arrives in Winterfell along with the other survivors from the Wall to inform Jon that they only have until sunrise before the undead arrive. And with death at their doorstep, Tormund has one final thing left on his to-do list. Oh yeah. That night, Jon strategizes with all the other head honchos and concludes that the only way they can possibly win against the army of the undead, which vastly outnumbers them, is to take out the Night King himself in the hopes that all the others will fall. And the best way to do that is by using Bran as bait, because since he's the three-eyed raven, that makes him the Night King's #1 target. So it's decided that Bran will wait in the garden under the big white tree with Theon and some other Ironborn protecting him, along with the dragons who will be close but not too close as to keep the Night King away. A big chunk of the episode finds a mixed group of main characters sitting around together in the Great Hall in front of a roaring fireplace, chatting and bonding in a way rarely seen in Game of Thrones since there's usually so much non-stop carnage. And it's here where my favorite part of the episode goes down, which is where Tormund lets everyone know just how it is he came to be the oversized ginger we all know and love. Turns out, my mother was right. Or at least half right. Drinking milk really does help you grow up big and strong. But regular old skim milk ain't gonna cut it. Damn, that's good. Giant's milk. It does a body good. Cut from my favorite scene to the weirdest scene, possibly in the entire series, where Arya throws herself on top of Gendry's sword. And I'm not talking about one he forged in the armory. The internet exploded with glorious memes about this late night rendezvous, along with a surge in the millions of people Googling for Maisie Williams' age. I myself was curious as I thought she was only like 15. Turns out she's 22. So just relax, everybody. She's totally old enough to have consensual sex with whoever she wants. It's just super awkward for all of us who have watched her grow up over the last decade. Somehow, it doesn't bother us to watch an underage girl brutally slaughter people with edged weapons for years, yet everyone loses their minds when she engages in the tender act of lovemaking. That's probably the most f***ed up part about the whole thing, is our disproportionately repulsed reaction. We circle back from the fire between Arya and Gendry to the actual fire in the Great Hall, where our mixed group of main characters are making small talk to kill time, during which Tyrion improperly addresses Brienne as Sir, subsequently prompting Jaime to use the last little bit of power he has left to knight Brienne, breaking both tradition and the metaphorical stone ceiling. This was a very emotional scene because, despite denying it at first, Brienne has always wanted to be a knight. And that desire is evidenced by her tearing up and giving us a great big smile as she rises Sir Brienne of Tarth, a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, also the title of this episode. We have seen a lot of things throughout this series. Births, deaths, weddings, funerals, and we've met lots of knights, but we've never actually seen anybody get knighted, making this scene one of a kind and that much more special. Out in the courtyard, Sam gives Ser Jorah his family Valyrian steel sword since he's not actually strong enough to wield it, which I'm sure is going to come in super handy in the next episode. Then, Pod eloquently sings a song, which was actually very well received, unlike the time Ed Sheeran made a cameo and everyone got all bent out of shape for some reason. As Pod sings, we see various characters bidding farewell to their respective ladies in various ways, finally ending with Jon and Dany in the crypt, where Jon finally breaks the bad news to Dany that he's her nephew and is also the heir to the Iron Throne. Needless to say, Dany does not take the news very well, but they don't have time to get into it because the horn sounds and the episode ends with the army of the undead arriving in Winterfell. Is anybody else stressed out about what's about to go down in the next episode? I think the fact that nobody died in this episode is going to end up averaging out with next week's episode, as it's 87 minutes long and is allegedly entirely dedicated to the battle. I think we all need to brace ourselves for some serious loss and heartbreak. There's a million theories and predictions floating around out there, but since HBO has taken the lead and aren't giving any hints, even those smug assholes who read the books are completely in the dark, just like the rest of us. So rather than obsess and speculate, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the surprise this weekend. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my review, please like and subscribe, and comment below on what you thought of the episode and my review, and throw some predictions at me at what you think is going to happen. And tune in next week for another episode of Rave of Thrones. Thanks for watching Movie Real Rick.